taken again on the baiting needle under the float. Well, good evening and welcome back to another fishing adventure. It's a really cold evening here in Jersey. I'm literally wrapped up to the hills. I've even put a set of long johns on. Recently we've had some really bad weather that's come through in Jersey. You might have heard of Storm Kieran. Absolutely ripped through the Channel Islands. We had some really strong hurricane-like winds up to about 110 miles per hour. But we also had a tornado. Something that we've not had for a very long time. And even though it was quite localized, it absolutely tore apart people's homes, people's land, landscape, yeah, just everything in its path. Really terrible. So I want to start this video with a little message to any people that watch the videos that have been part of the damage that's been inflicted by, you know, the events of the last week. I hope you can get everything, you know, back to its original self. You can recover from it. Big thank you also to all of the services, you know, people that are working on roofs, tree surgeons, everyone working around the clock to get Jersey back to its, you know, kind of normal ways. Anyway, fishing. We are out tonight looking for a squid. The water has been churned up and I'm not thinking that the squid are going to like it. So I'm going to give myself every opportunity tonight to catch some squid. I also already have a float out with a sprat underneath. If you've not seen that technique before, I made a video a couple of weeks ago where I used a float. I'm also going to use my jigging rod, the 2 jig rig with 2 squid jigs on it, and I'm just going to pass that around and hopefully we can get into some squid. I have got my light set up, as you can see just down there, and that's illuminating the water. It's a little bit light over there still, so it's still getting to darkness the best time. Darkness over there, a little bit of light there, but I have got my own light, little DIY light. A lot of people ask, what kind of light do you use? Just something from a DIY store, very convenient, recharges. I've just got it attached to a rope and a nice weight anchor like there, and then I can move it up and down the pier to where I'm fishing. Goodbye to today. Hello night. Squid jigging, and as you can see my float is just bobbing around just there. I've got that set to about 8 foot. It's about 12 foot deep at the moment, and what we're looking for is that maybe shooting down or coming back up, or moving really quickly one way aggressively, where a squid has got it and it's just pulling it along. Just gonna whack the jigs out and just fish really slow. It's a very cold evening. To be honest, I don't think I'm going to get much on the squid jigs because of the colour of the water. A squid's going to have to be right next to it to see it. That's why I've gone for some bright orange and yellow jigs. My nose is dribbling. That's when you know it's cold. Yeah. On the bottom, big piece of vrac on it. Nice and clean. Now in this area there's a lot of seagrass, and I'm hoping that the storms that have pushed through here have not picked too much of it up off the bottom, because that's where the squids tend to hide. Kind of hang around on it, above it or within it, ready to ambush any bait that's in and around it. Might be a little bit different to where you are, but that's why I'm targeting these particular areas. Oh yeah, I've got a squid. Yep, we've got a squid on the float. My float is just going under. It's being dragged away. We have our first squid. Big bend on the rod. And there you have it. Well, the bait came up trumps, and we've got our first squid, which has taken a sprat underneath the float. Now my float just actually dragged off. He started going down and under, and I've got this little thing. Not the biggest squid, But hey, you cannot beat it. First one of the night. I did think that the float with the sprat would do the job, and it has. Give it a quick karate chop, put it out of its misery, and we'll go again. There you go. You can see it's turned white in colour. Give it a couple of chops between the head and the neck, and we're ready to go again. I am going to need to put another sprat on though, because it's absolutely destroyed it. So that is the sprat. It's been proper torn up. As you can see, it's just ripped off. I'm going to chuck that in. A little bit of ground bait. I've unclipped it. I've got another sprat just here. Just going to thread it on like so, up through the body. Push the head right down so it sits like so. And when the water's murky like this, I wasn't really expecting too much tonight. It's really nice to get one. Clips just back on like so. I do have an attracted light above it just to give it a little bit more oomph. Hopefully we can get another. Be really nice to see if I do keep getting them on the actual sprat itself and not on the jigs. Kind of a lure versus bait kind of evening. We'll hold out though, we'll see how it goes. It's really nice to actually see one, because I've not seen any for a few days since the storm. So maybe they are moving in, or maybe they just were around and they couldn't see the bait or smell the bait or see the jigs. Really nice though to see that there are squid about. Hopefully that's the start. Stuck on the bottom again there, you can see. Always make sure that you get everything off the bottom, because sometimes it can stop them from falling like they should do, and they just do all sorts. I don't actually know what they do because I can't see it. So both the jigs I actually have on are silent. So what I'm going to do is take that off, put a little rattler on, see if that makes a difference in this cloudy stuff. Same kind of colour, but we'll see if that makes a difference. Always keeping an eye out on the float as well. She's just bobbling around, just waiting for it to sink under like the last one did. The last one just sunk just underneath the surface, and I did think, oh, it could be stuck on the bottom, but I'm nowhere near the bottom. So yeah, that indicated that we had one. I was hoping that, you know, that would be the first one and that would be the floodgates opening, but as of yet, no. It's hard work, this. I guess the saying goes, you can't have it all. But you can have it if you try. To let you kind of see how murky the water is, my two jigs there are on the very surface, but if I drop them down a foot, you can hardly see them. You can just make them out. Back up there again to the top, you can see them. A foot down, you cannot. Well, it's been a pretty dire session so far, to be honest. One squid. But if I wasn't fishing a float with a bait underneath it, I might not have caught anything tonight. So it just shows that mixing it up, having some jigs and a float sometimes can work for the best, even though I prefer to use one or the other. Tonight's quite a calm night, so yeah, someone else is about to join us anyway. Right, I've had to move location. Just scooted around the block. Best thing about living in Jersey is somewhere it's not too far away. Where I was fishing just before, tide was getting a little bit low, so I've skipped around in my car 15-20 minutes, come to another pier. Luckily there is no one here. I've put the float out again with a sprat, put that down, drop this one a little bit deeper because it's a little bit deeper here, and I'm also going to fish with the two jigs. Let's see how this goes. Still going with the kind of lures versus jigs. See how this prevails. The only thing in this place is my float is going to drift quite quick. Very quick. We've got a squid on the float. My float is underneath and suspended right now. Get in there, and it's a big one. Look at the size of that. That is a proper squid. Taken again on the sprat. I'm sorry that the camera is probably a little bit blurry right now, but that is a massive squid. That's a really nice squid, that. My float went straight under and just stayed suspended on the bottom. That is an absolute beauty. I'm getting absolutely nothing on the squid jigs, and it just shows in this murky water sometimes the float can outdo the jigs with a bait. That's a really nice squid. Really happy with that. Let's try and get another. There. That's a proper nice squid. Put them out their misery nice and quick. Quick chop. If you're squeamish, look away now. There you go. See how he's gone white? Perfect. Boom. That needs to be changed. Just make a little kebab. We've got another on the float. That one came off. It's just absolutely munched that bait. So that one took my float down. I had it on, then it let go. Let the float off again. Shot straight back down again. Dropped it again, but it had ripped up my bait, as you could see. We've got another one on. We've got another one on. Get in there, this is a big one. Boom. Second one on the float. Changed places and I've had two really nice squid. Look at the size of that one as well. Proper nice one. Taken again on the baiting needle under the float. Can't beat that, can you? Proper loving that. Second one at this spot again. Cam for comparison. Lovely squid. Lovely colours on it. Taken under the float with the light, and then the bait underneath it. Really cannot go wrong. Again, if you're squeamish, look away now. Double kill. There you go. Two lovely squid. Let's get back in there. Right, there are people coming down now, so I might call it a night here because it's been a good sesh, but I'm gonna probably pack up in a minute anyway. So if I do get anything else, I'll let you know. But I tell you what, if I didn't have the float tonight, I wouldn't have caught anything. I've had some inquiries on the jigs, but you know, nothing. A lot more inquiries on the actual float. 3 nice squid tonight, really nice. So yeah, if you're going out there, murky water, always take a float with you, get some sprats, make some sprat kebabs and chuck him out there.